Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly timeframes. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. Go to our website, sign up for our free membership. If you like to watch these videos, I'll be posting new stuff. We'll be doing a lot of live streaming up and coming in the near future, and just trade ideas, a little bit of education, all that good stuff. And guys, thanks for watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. It's been fun. I love this stuff, and hopefully I'm teaching some of you guys out there how to read charts. All right, let's get into the daily SPY. Again, we're just grinding. Guys, these are tough markets. Don't buy puts. I've been telling you guys for months. Don't buy puts. Don't buy puts. They're killing them. Right puts, you can do that. But anyways, we're above the 20, the 50, and the 200 MA. We're no problems, guys. Just keeps floating, keeps floating. I love the consolidation here. Bullish pattern up here, inside bar. Let's see if we could get above these MA, not the MAs, the trend lines up here. Maybe shoot the 236, 237 area. And if this pattern fails and we can't get through these areas of resistance, then we're looking just to stay above the 20 MA. If you're bullish, as long as we're above that, above this trend line, it'll be fine. We're almost into the point where, let's see, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 more days, we're going to be into this trend line. So does this trend line take this market higher, or do we crack below it and crack below the 20 MA and it starts to take it lower and possibly starts to hit the 50 MA, gap fill? Yeah, got a gap fill down here, and then we'll take it from there. We go $6-7 down, we'll see if we're going to hit support and possibly bounce again. So anyways, a lot of resistance, a lot of good support. Let's take it one each and every day. Let's see if we go sideways up into this trend line, see if that pushes it, and then we'll take it from there. Weekly chart, same thing, guys. Nothing wrong. Bullish inside bar here. Here's that trend line on the daily. We're still above it now, but on the weekly, we are hitting this thing. So does this thing send it higher? Only time will tell. On the weekly close, we'll know if it closes above this area on Friday, 233, 234, then let's see if we could get some continuation, or do we just chop around sideways? And if we go down, we want to get below this bar here around 220.69, but you do have the 20 MA as well on the weekly too, so you got great support, great resistance, kind of a 50-50 shot, and we'll see how it reacts when it just starts hitting the bigger resistance or support. IWM. And volume wasn't bad on the SPY either, 95 million on the day. But the IWM, daily chart, nothing wrong, just like the SPY. We did close back above the 20 MA. We did shoot right up to this trend line here. If you're bullish, you need to get above this trend line, and of course this upsloping trend line, or the 140 area, and then this one can continue higher. We'd still wait for confirmation up here after the breakout. Still keep an eye on volume. If it's light volume, it's just floating up, then I'd be a little bit, on alert with that. But you know what? You have to respect this bullish pattern. It could move up. If it moves down, though, you probably come down here, fill the gap, maybe double bottom. Maybe have a couple gaps, a little bit lower to fill. But you know what? Well, let's get to this one first. We'll see how it reacts. If it starts to slip, then possibly even the 200 MA down there. So either way, it could go up or down at this point, guys. It has some great bullish consolidation, even on this one too, the weekly. Slightly bearish, but it is bullish above all the MAs on the weekly. Again, as long as you stay above this 132 area on the IWM, that's the big green bar here, so, or 131. You have support here, and then you have a gap fill down here, and then you have some other stuff. So yeah, either way, you have real good resistance coming here, the 750 trend line, upsloping. Then you have some little bit of pivots here and some consolidation too. But nothing wrong with the IWM, guys. Nothing wrong. Qs made a pretty good run today, all-time highs. Let's go to the daily. We closed above the all-time high too. You have to respect that. 126. This is an upsloping trend line. I'll show you on the weekly. But right now, you know what? Nothing wrong. Again, just like everything right now. Everything's above the MAs. We want to calm the masses and just keep this thing going. It's great. The Trump trade, let's keep it rolling. Everything's going to be great again. All that good stuff. Let's look at the weekly. Show you that trend line, where that's coming from. Here's this one here. It goes back to the 16th or 4/18 of 2016. Crosses through the highs. Upsloping trend lines aren't the best, but you got to have them in there, because honestly, if it goes here, then I'm thinking 130 area. So got to watch for this trend line to see how it reacts when it gets to price, or price gets to it. If this fails, this is more the weekly. We'll see where we close on the weekly if we just continue, down, or if we don't. I still want to see it close above this little pivot here. Let me pull this in for you guys. I want to see it close above the last weekly candle pivot. And then a shoot, then I want to see more volume up into this area too. So we'll see if these guys can do it. On this light volume, they're floating these markets up every day. So you just gotta step aside and let it do its thing. But once we start getting up in here, then you have to think about putting a possible trade on if you're not short already. So let's see the DIA. The DIA, same thing. It's just been chopping around. Gosh, writing calls right here on the DA would have been just beautiful. Playing premium right here, my gosh. Just sat and sat and sat and sat. Man, after the Trump rally too, right through Christmas, that was perfect. But the DIA, back above the 20 MA, got to respect it. It's like magic every day. Volume wasn't bad though on the DIA. So you have to say, hey, you know what? Let's see another day of follow through. Maybe hit the Dow 20,000 area. We're not that far away, guys. A good gap up, 60, 70 points, and then a good run for the money right out of the gate. Come on. I know you can do it. I haven't looked at the futures, but I know you can do it, Grandma. I know it. Weekly chart, DIA, nothing wrong. You got the tail. That's when we made the old all-time high here, right up in that area. Actually, these were both the same. So as long as we're staying below that, you got to think it's going to pull back a little bit, but not bad bullish consolidation up here. So you got to respect that. And the light volume, you got to say, hey, this could possibly make a run for, 205, 210. Who knows? This isn't bad bullish consolidation. It's not the best, not the worst, but it is bullish consolidation. And you have to say, this thing could pop higher. But if this pattern fails, then we're going downtown real quick. So look out for that. If you're long, respect this and tighten your stops. If you're short, hold on for dear life because you can have maybe one more leg up. So make sure you're not overloaded in any position right now. Spread them apart, and sometimes right now, just kind of better to watch and take some, the best trades. You get a little early in a couple of these. The only thing saving us are light size positions. We can always add more, but we'll see how that goes. IYT, guys. IYT on the daily, we were up 261. Again, we got above that 20. We were talking about that. It got above it, staying, consolidating. Now it's making a move up. We went right up into this high pivot here. So let's see if we could push through a gap up tomorrow and shoot for the all-time high, or does it fight through here and then possibly kick it back and just kind of chop around for another couple of weeks, let the 50 MA curl into price. Maybe that helps boost it up. So that will take another, week or two or so. So again, daily chart, or no, I'm thinking of the weekly. This will take another couple of days. Let's see if this curls up in the price. And if that keeps, if this thing keeps moving up and this moves up as well as price does, then man, we could go right back to that 171 area and possibly higher. But again, light volume, I want to see a little more conviction. And right now, nothing wrong though, back above the MAs. We talk about this on StockTwits intraday. Back above the MAs, that's their goal every day. A little bit stretched on the from the 20, on the 50 and the 200. It did come back. It had a retrace. It did fill the gap here. We're getting the bounce off the gap fill level. Do we retrace back up? Maybe 618. Let's just go. Let's go a little more short term, guys. I'll just do a quick. So let's see here if we where do we retrace from here? So we're back into the 618 and the 750 is at 168.66. So we're into the 618, which is the big retrace, guys. So keep an eye on this one here. Did they retrace it for a couple weeks through Christmas and all that good stuff? Or actually, yeah, well, they sold it through that time. Then we went up on 1-2. Right at the beginning of the year, we started going up. So got to keep an eye on this. Not a bad pattern. Let's see where it retraces. And this is the old all-time high, too. Does it go a little higher? Possibly. Everything's been overshooting like we've been talking about. So you got to be careful with that. USO. USO was up a little tiny bit today. Nothing to, back above the trend line, I believe it was. Yep. So we touched it and popped up. Now we went back to the 20 MA. Now we're doing that. But right now, this is slightly bearish to me. Even though we're above this trend line, we're still below the 20 and we're above the 50 and the 200. But man, it just can't get going. I mean, it got up here and just chopping. And now is it, with this down move here and a little bit sideways action. Let's see if we get back above the 20. If you can, that's more of a bullish stance, and you're probably going back to 1202. And 12 was the next area, 1245 area or so. So he's got to get back above the 20, this pivot, fill the gap, get back up in here, and then possible higher prices. If you're bearish, you want to see this thing go back below the trend line here, back below the 50 and the 200 moving average, and then you'll have some gaps to fill on the way down. But ultimately, this trend line here around 1050, then you have a gap fill. I like this $10 area right here. You have this, and then you have the gap fill a little bit lower at 987. There you might get a bounce, and if it really starts to rumble, this is the USO. We go back into the 956 area. Let's go to the weekly. I can show you that same trend line here. So the weeklies here, we're just hanging on right at about 120. Did we close at 121? Last was 137. Yeah, so the trend line, we're bouncing off that. Nothing to worry. We're still above the 20 and the 50 MA. Still in a bullish stance. Not the best. I mean, I don't like the fact that we kind of made a little bubble here. I would have liked it just to go up and go sideways with this trend line, but it quite didn't do it. So right now, you got to stay above the trend line and then start making a run for these highs. You know, around 12 bucks, 12.45. I think there was another level here. Yeah, I mean, you got something pretty good here around 13.50, and then this breakdown bar around 13.23. So you got to be aware of that too, guys. You know, going up. You know, if you're long, you know, stick with it. It's not terrible. I'm short the USO, nothing heavy. You know, with the SCO, and I have a little position of the USO left from a swing trade that we've been shorting and covering, shorting and covering, shorting and covering. So we've been playing this one for a little while, guys. But right now, again, above the moving averages, just like everything else, nothing wrong. Let's go to the UUP. UUP was only up 1 cent on the day, but we did come to this double bottom, you know, and now that, you know, they're talking about, you know, is this the low for the US dollar, even on the regular news? You know, dollar was down again today, you know, is this something new? So again, double bottom here, actually triple bottom. You got the 20 MA. This is the weekly chart, so it's a little bit bigger. It could flush through, fill the gap, and then bounce. You have a trend line down here as well. But right now, nothing is wrong. 20 MA curling. Again, this is the weekly, so it's a bigger time frame. Let's see if we can stay above this this double bottom too. If we can stay above that, then we could probably get some higher prices on the dollar. But right now, you know, they're in there doing their thing. Trump's in there, so there's a little bit of uncertainty. So, you know, you guys know how this works. Hashtag grandma, you know. So that's the weekly chart, the daily. The daily, we've been talking about these pullbacks as this thing was moving up, or the dollar, you know, see how we went up, pulled back, went up, pulled back, went up. And this time we had a little deeper of a pullback here. Got to say, hey, what's going on with that? But look at this. If we move back up and come back around, we could have a little head and shoulder top, and then we'd expect lower prices if and when we crack this trend line down in here. So nothing to speak of yet. Just left shoulder, high head up in here, and then we'll see if we get one more, and then possibly the dollar shoots down. And then on the weekly chart, same thing. We talked about the 20 MA. You got the gap fill. So right now, nothing wrong. You did have a nice pullback. You know, let's see if this is the next leg up, or do we start going through the 20 MA right away? You know, this week. You know, we'll see where Friday closes. So you know, if it closes below the 20 MA, then you got to say gap fill, and then we'll be watching for this area. And then, you know, of course, you have another gap fill down here around the 50 MA. You know, if you wanted to go long, you know, if you're short this thing from up here, this 2683 pivot. You know, we got a lot of support here, guys. Just think about it that way. All right, let's get right into the GLD. Got a little bit left here. GLD, nothing wrong. Weekly chart pulls right up to the 20 MA. We're still in the 115 area. Remember, this was support back in the day too, so this is where we're running in some action. So let this thing go sideways. See if this thing goes sideways for the next, you know, again, 7 to 10 weeks or so. You know, it could go earlier. We're going to look at the daily, but we'll be watching for pattern on the weekly and the close on Friday. Daily chart, nothing wrong, still above the MAs. Look, though, you got the golden cross, guys. Holy cow. And this thing pushes up. You know, I'm still thinking the 121, 122 area. And here, if this thing really starts to go, and this is the daily chart. So if it gets up there, it could possibly get to this downsloping trend line around 124, 125. So if it starts getting up in this area, I'll start taking some off of gold just to take some profits and, you know, and move on to the next trade. All right, guys, thanks again for coming, watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. I love doing this stuff, love trading, love technicals, trying to figure out where these stocks are going. Again, thanks for watching my videos. Subscribe, sign up for the free membership, do all that good stuff. Thanks again, guys. God bless. See you on the charts.